Okay, we're continuing with the laws of the Seder, and we are on Tuf Ayin Gimel 473, and we're in the end of Sif Aleph. We're going to read the Ramah. The Ramah writes, "Ve'ein litl yadav klal kodem kiddush." A person should not wash his hands at all before kiddush, and we'll see, meaning kiddush at the Seder, and we'll see soon why. Why shouldn't a person wash his hands before the Seder? V'im ein yadav nikiyos, but if his hands are not clean, yitol ma'ad, then he can wash them a little bit. Then he should wash them a little bit. But one should not make a blessing on this washing. We also said that the balabayas, the one who leads the Seder, does not pour himself wine, but rather someone else pours for him, because this shows freedom to have someone else pour your wine. Now, what is this issue about not washing one's hands before the Seder? So we already know that there are two times during the Seder we wash. One, we wash before the karpas without a bracha, because we're taking vegetables and dipping them in water, and people don't know, but you have to wash your hands before you eat, after you do that. But we don't make a bracha on that. But we wash normal, twice on each hand. And we also wash our hands before we make the bracha on the matzah, just like we do on every Shabbos and Yantiv, and every time that we eat bread. We wash, and then we do make a blessing. So here, the Ramah is saying that we should not wash before the Seder. Now, why is that? Let's see the Mishnah Berurah. Ve'ein litol yadav. Rotzalom, this means to say, Afla hanoagim b'chol hashana litol yadav l'seuda kodem kiddush u'ledideo hakiddush l'chashiv hafsik ben l'tilo seuda hoil v'hu mitzarchen ha'seuda k'mosh nizbar v'sem reish ayin aleph b'kol makom b'lal pesach shemafsikin harbe acher kiddush b'amiras hagara b'tokach mesiyah daito mishmiras yadav l'kul yama ein lasos kin. So he says, there are those who have the custom, some of you may know people like this, maybe some of you do this, that on Shabbos, let's say, on Shabbos, they wash their hands for hamotzi before they make kiddush. And usually, even though we want to wash as close as we can to the hamotzi, so that there shouldn't be a hefsek, there shouldn't be an interruption. When you wash your hands before kiddush, and then you have kiddush and then hamotzi, that's the little time that it takes to make kiddush in between washing and eating the bread. That's not considered a significant interruption, so it's fine. But here at the Seder, where you're not going to be eating bread, matzah, until a very, very long time, the Ramah is saying, don't wash your hands at the beginning of the Seder for the hamotzi, for the matzah coming in the later part of the Seder, because you're not going to be able to have in mind to keep your hands clean, because if you don't pay attention to your hands the entire time, and you have a hesech hadas, then you would have to wash again anyway, and there would be a hefsek. So we don't wash our hands before the Seder, even if you're the type of person who on Shabbos washes your hands before Kiddush. He says, even if you recall, we mentioned there are two times in the Seder you wash your hands, and one of them is eating the karpas. So he says, even to wash your hands before Kiddush, for the karpas, which is relatively early on in the Seder, one should not do. It's not appropriate to do that. So one should not wash his hands in the normal way before the Seder. That means twice on each hand. Yitomat, however, he said if your hands are dirty, then you could wash a little bit. So why does it say wash a little bit specifically? Kasav ma'at kedei lachosh la'atam shehevi b'darkei Moshe de'en litl yadayim kodem kiddush de'mechshi shesover shekidut tzarich netila v'alkein lo yitol netila gemura. So why does it say only wash a little bit? So the reason is that the Darchei Moshe writes another reason not to do a halachic washing before the Seder is because people might think that one's required to wash his hands to do a halachic washing before Kiddush. So therefore, one should not do a halachic washing before the Seder, meaning twice on each hand, because it'll look like, hey, oh, look at that. One's required to wash his hands before Kiddush, so you don't do that. But if someone's hands are dirty, right, you're making Kiddush, you're part of the Seder, so you can't, if you just went to the bathroom, you can't say holy words, you can't make Kiddush. So what you do is you can wash a little bit, just run your hands under water a little bit. So that you could do. Aval ein levarach, says you don't make a blessing. He says even if for some reason you do a regular washing before the Seder, then you do not make a blessing on this. Right? You shouldn't wash a halachic washing before the Seder, and even if you do, you definitely should not make a blessing on it, because it would be a blessing in vain. We said that a person should pour wine for the head of the household, if it's possible. We said if it's possible for him to do that. Okay. With that, we concluded Taf Ayin Gimel Sif Aleph. Next time, God willing, we'll continue with Sif Beis, which is about leaning. That we have to lean at the Seder, and we'll learn about the 4 cups and do as much as we can about the Seder before Pesach comes. Wishing everyone a beautiful day.